BBC Sounds. Music, radio, podcasts.
I'm Tom Service, and this is the Music Matters podcast from BBC Radio 3. What's the best image for the creativity of today's composers? You see, they used to be in boxes marked classical or contemporary or avant-garde. But those boxes have now been broken. How? By the curious tentacles of musical freedom. Composers are octopuses, free-roaming octopuses, that's what I'm saying. Tentacular explorers, writhing and digesting and creating new music across genres, swimming in oceans of sound. How will we show the truth of the compositional octopus in today's Music Matters? Well, in the company of three composers. That's how. Du Yun, Shanghai-born and now living in New York, and two young British composers who've won the BBC Proms Inspire competition over its 20-year history. On Music Matters today, I've promised you the octopus-like tentacles of other composers who I think are essential explorers of our modern musical world. So let's start with one who's about to make a major appearance at Soundstate, a celebration of 21st century music at the South Bank Centre in London. Du Yun. She makes and performs music in which worlds collide. Grammy and Pulitzer Prize-winning albums and operas that dare to not only take music into new sonic places, but also deal with social, political and sexual subject matter. Thought-provoking and above all, ear-delighting music that she makes, from Air Glow to Angel's Bone. So you can hear the enormous energy that the collisions of Du Yun's music releases, and that defines everything she does as a performer and an improviser as well. She's composed music for an iPad series about kung fu fighting dumplings, and she's written all-encompassing orchestral pieces. So where does all this teeming energy come from? Well, Du Yun talked to me from New York, and it was as thrilling to talk to her as it is to hear her music.
I'm not doing something because it's in fashion or it's a hashtag subject, but there are many subjects that I think it's important and urgent for me to address as an artist, as a human being.
Hearing your music, Du, it's like jumping into this incredibly, sometimes very dark, sometimes very dazzling kind of maelstrom sometimes, where there's such an incredible, thrilling sort of density. And I think of a piece like Impeccable Quake, where you feel everything is simultaneously, and I mean this in a very positive way, like completely kind of chaotic, but also very, very controlled, very, very precise in the way that it's put together. And also a sense of your openness to, whole worlds of music. All of these things where people bang on about genres of classical, pop, whatever. None of that stuff seems to matter to you. I just wonder, but where does it come from in you, that openness and freedom that your music gives me and anyone who listens to it?
I'm always up for challenges, and I think to me that's technique that I would love to get better at a lot of things that I do, because that's how I listen to music. I listen to so many different musics. I love Kendrick Lamar.
I got loyalty, got royalty inside my DNA.
I really do. I like some of Cardi B as well.
Now, I like dollars, I like diamonds, I like stunning, I like shining, I like $1 million deals. Where's my pen? I'm signing. I like those.
And if I could rap, I would really do it. But that's something I haven't yet honed.
When you're listening to that huge range of music, then what's your approach to it? Are you thinking, how can I use this? How can I do it? How can I perform it? How can I make it part of what I do as a musician?
For me, it's always coming from I get really excited about something. And you remember how fun it was to be as a kid? Because then you have this goals, when I grow up, I want to do this, I want to do that, right? So I think this is something very important to me, that I still trying to retain that curiosity. To me means that I'm not in fear of what I cannot do. By the same token, I think the fun thing of growing up is to be able to say, oops, I'm already here. Before you realizing, people are taking a notice of what you do, and it means a lot for the next generation. And you never wanted the next generation just be like you either. You wanted to give the agency to say that they are allowed to do whoever they want to be. Everyone should have a voice.
You said you feel privileged to have that voice yourself. But do you think that the music world in general is open enough to those opportunities, precisely that opportunity for everyone to have the voice that they want to have?
Around the globe, I think that people are trying really hard and trying to make a change. But sometimes I think that it does take a little bit of time and experimentation to go a little deeper. Back to the conversation regarding style too. I think classical contemporary music is essentially very white. I also hear those people say that, I don't care those labels, as long as it's good, I'm going to program it. But the thing is that we're forgetting to address that our aesthetic is filtered.
So what you mean is that argument about, all I care about is good music. If it's good, it's bad.
Exactly.
That arbiter needs to be thought through as well, because in fact the people who are saying that tend to be white men, like me. But I mean, but you know what I mean. The taste has been formed over generations.
It doesn't have to be just white men, right? It could be anyone, including me too. Because some things are acquired taste, like food. Still to this day, I cannot eat goat cheese. But I'm not going to say goat cheese is bad. And as a curator, you cannot just not programming goat cheese because you don't like it.
Right. So
you know what I mean?
You will program musical goat cheese if you have to. That's the point.
Because you have to reflect the true face of what our society is. We have to have that reflection. That is also economic thing too, that we have to have all the people who has not have the access to those conservatory training. And I think that we do need to really turn our curiosity to the content. What are we talking about?
You were growing up in Shanghai, in China. The music you loved and heard, and where it came from. I just wonder whether you had a potentially freer set of associations growing up in Shanghai with all of this music, not just classical music, but all of the music you loved.
Yes and no. I think that yes, in a sense that I'm privileged to have another set of ideas, right? So, for instance, like the intervals, fourth and fifth to us are very consonant.
So in Chinese musical traditions, the fourth and fifth very consonant, and
it's
in
very
Western music,
lovely. Exactly. So I remember, having to take those classes. I just want to kill myself. A lot of the theory classes that we are taking are just a set of rules that by composers in those regions during that time. I never wanted to do a piece about human trafficking for the sake of human trafficking, but I'm interested in human nature. And I think that the kind of close collaboration with my performers and with the people who I'm inspired by keep making me being the artist that I want to be. And I think to have that kind of open heart and open eyes are making me the kind of human being I want to be. It's a cyclical, wonderful, beautiful, transcendent journey for me. And I know it sounds so cliche. I can't believe I just said it out. But that's a bit of true.
Yeah, but your music proves it. Yeah, so.
Yeah, because it's funny that, like my music is often like noisy and wild, blah, blah, blah. But I think I always say that I'm just this like closet Zen master.
Look, you have to be a kind of the still point, in control somehow of all of these forces that your curiosity is taking in.
Yeah, but also understanding the cyclical nature of human societies. I think this is the privilege of being born in China. We have gone through so many dynasties.
So you mean cycles of rise of empire, let's say,
exactly.
or rise and fall,
rise and fall, just like the British Empire too.
Yes.
But we're longer, so. but also like looking at the recent years and this huge surge. Look at America right now. What can we really do better?
Du Yan, and music created with and for one of her closest musical collaborators, the flautist Claire Chase. And Du Yan's programmed a major gig that's part of Soundstate at the South Bank in London. The New Java and Shanghai, it's called, with instrumentalists from China and Indonesia on the 20th of January. And on the 18th, she's appearing with the improviser and percussionist Shayna Dunkelman in a set that will be a highlight of the whole festival that starts on the 16th.